Great to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. Oh my gosh, were you ever amazing in this? You would have conned me, no problem.
That's great. That's good. That's kind of the idea. That means we worked. It
You
worked.
totally worked. Okay, so let's start by asking here. I know that you deep dive always into your roles, you research, but how much did you know about Robert Freegard even just before going into all of this?
So this one was uh, a real experience, different experience for me, because what preceded the playing of the role was this development process. Because it was the first time I produced a movie as well as acted in it, and this really the conception of this was 6 years ago when a producer who produced this movie with us, a guy called Rob Taylor, sent me Michael Bronner's article with an email heading, "This has got to be a movie. You got to play him. Let's do this." It was kind of amazing. We looked
Yeah.
up the email the other day. So what preceded my kind of tackling the character, which I'm more familiar with as an actor, was the kind of vision of the world and building it as a whole with other characters, building the whole canvas, which I genuinely had such fun doing. I'm now completely addicted to it. It felt so empowering. Bringing on, had these brilliant directors pitch. Adam and Declan came on board, wrote this fantastic script with Michael's original screenplay. And so when it came to playing him, I had this incredible amount of research, which was already done for me.
Right.
The real challenge was resisting trying to play everything. And also in the script, we had so much stuff we just couldn't use, partly because it was just too much to contain, and also partly because a lot of it was just implausible. I mean, some of it was so beyond belief that we actually decided that we couldn't put it in the screenplay because it felt so far-fetched. It was kind of
right. But this whole story is so far-fetched, like seriously. And you're watching it and you're learning about this man, and he's conning people who are not stupid. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're all desperate or whatever it is. Like, he's so smooth. How do you kind of, when you play a character like this, and I know you've played other characters too, but how do you justify in your mind, like give him a justification and go, okay, it's okay.
Yeah. No, I know this is the question really, which and it's come up a lot, and I as we tackled it many times. We tried to tackle it, is the big why. Why is he the man he is? And you have a responsibility to tap into that. The film intentionally didn't spend too much time working that out. We left it for the audience to either go and research or just make up their own minds. From my point of view, we did lean into certain speculations we had about his childhood, and usually those types of people who are able to cause such pain usually are running away from their own pain and are lacking in some deeply sad way. So
Sure.
we looked at his childhood and whether it came from trauma, and but more of it was really to do with that in the moment, the kind of the addiction he had to power, and having he was apparently his teachers would say that he sat in classrooms and very coldly said, "I'm going to be extraordinary, I'm going to be something extraordinary." So he was obsessed with characters like James Bond and these kind of film stars and things. He had these aspirations which weren't necessarily backed up by focus or intellect required, and then I think he kind of realized early on that he had this power, which I've realized is the power of a brilliant therapist. He's able to ascertain what it is which people, the story everyone wants to be told. That line, was what we kept coming back to. Everyone has a story they want to be told. Freegard's power was being able to find out what that was and then use it against you, as opposed to a therapist who would help you untangle it. And it's not so much a why, but it's more like once he realized that power, he got so addicted to it, and then it became his job. Then he started to make money off it, and it became his income. And so there's lots of factors as to why, but at the center it was possible trauma and just control, like obsession with it.
Do you think that if you lie to yourself enough, you start believing yourself? Like, did you think that he actually believed that he was an MI5? Like, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's another great question. because there were so many iterations of this script and with so many various angles we took, and again, why the development process I found so nourishing and exciting, we actually did have a version really early on, which was sort of leaning into certain transcripts, which were from his court case, which the FBI have. And there were certain, I think, interviews, which Michael, who did the original article, brilliantly, 11,000 words of such thorough investigative journalism. There were FBI transcripts, and there was a diagnosis in there about like how his mental health perhaps gave the impression that he did believe in the delusion. But we then decided not to go down that route because it felt like it was condoning his actions. And we explored it. And I think, you know, there are elements of it. There is clearly something in there where he's able to compartmentalize truth and fiction and successfully convince himself that he is this sort of agent. And to claim that he was fully in the grip of the delusion would be to do disservice to the victims, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Great chemistry with Gemma. Oh my God, she's so good. It wasn't instant with the two of you.
You know, it really was. She's so great. We knew each other a little bit before. We brought her into this movie. It was a complete coup. She's like such a pro and is just so lovely. And I know actors always say like, oh, they're really lovely, but Gemma really is like so cool and grounded, and like she's so charismatic and beautiful, but also just like down, you know. Really wanted to get involved with the development, and really, I mean, what was really great was that this whole film really was unlocked when we realized that it was about Alice's story. The Rob Taylor, who found the original article, and Kitty Koletsky and Adam and Declan as well, all, Kitty particularly, fought for that pivot where it was originally it was all about him in the early draft, and then we were like, no, we need to see him through the eyes of this lawyer who brought him to justice, and make the film about her journey, and see her go on this change and this reckoning, and so when we had Gemma on board, it just unlocked even further, because we've got this incredible actress, and I think it's her best work. I mean, she's brilliant in everything, but I really think she shines in this movie. I think she's so strong. So I loved it. I was playing opposite like a master, having fun and doing great work. It was lovely.
Well, don't be so humble. I mean, you were really amazing too in this, honestly. And what I love about you, James, is like you mix it up. You've given us a psychopath. You've been in so many other different roles. What is it? And now with this, you're producing as well. So what is it about a script now that, kind of jazzes you and makes you want to take it on?
It's really weird when you have a vehicle like this production company, which I run with Kitty, and you're empowered to tell stories which you want to tell. Everyone asks you, what is the story you want to tell? And to be honest, I don't know. I genuinely don't go, there is this one thing eating away at me. I've lots of ideas for scripts which I would like to make myself, which are kind of in the abstract at the moment, and hopefully will one day find a proper sort of footing. But really, it's like, it has to be the stuff which takes you by surprise. I think it has to be the stuff which you didn't even know about and can't quite believe. So when you read it, it's like, fuck, this is so obscure and so unique and such an anomaly to everything else I'm reading. We got to make this, and Free Guard was that, like, the idea of someone kidnapping people but not constraining them, kidnapping them by brainwashing them to such an extent that like he was able to take them away on these journeys of 10 years. It just felt so random and unpredictable. I think that's kind of what we're looking for, is the sort of can't quite believe this is real, and it doesn't have to be a true story at all, but again, I guess that taps into the roles and the choice of roles. You want something to take you by surprise because you've never been there before, and therefore you're going to learn more, and so generally trying not to repeat, and looking for that new avenue to flex and see what but
okay, so we're going to warn people out there. What do you think it takes to be a master manipulator so that people won't get manipulated? What do we need to look for?
See, I think what I'm really proud of in this role, in our telling of this story, is that we didn't fall into the trap of making him traditionally suave. We made him peculiar. We made him a bit gauche and a bit kind of awkward, like the leopard and the way he eats, and like when she's like, you're so fucking random. I think in a way it's those types of characters where you have a mixture of, you know, viciousness and the ability to deceive and exploit, with a kind of inherent vulnerability and a softness and a kind of approach. What makes him appealing wasn't his debonair ways, it was actually his disarming. You know, he empowered those women. He told them, like, your life is ahead of you. And he, again, that bad therapist thing, he was able to tap into what they needed and wanted, and then use it against them. So I guess what I would now be wary of, and it's a really dark thing to say, because you don't want people to leave this movie and go, I don't want anyone, you know, I don't trust anyone. But
Right.
You know, I think it's not the suaveness is so dated now and predictable. And actually what really is powerful of Frigard is his peculiarity and the mystery, which is really fun to play with. But
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, you did such a good job, honestly. Congratulations. You did. I really liked the movie. I thought it was so fascinating. I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I purposely, now I'm going to go back and watch it, because I want to see, you know, how that's done. So thank you so much for your time today, James. I really appreciate it. Always love talking to you, and best of luck with everything. Come visit us here in Toronto soon. Okay.
I'll be there. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate it.
Okay. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.